hoo. It is cold. So, what are we going to talk about today? I feel like what wants to be said is this sense of being in the energy of what you want to do or who you want to be. And, all right, so let's just start with what? Apparently, tripod's off center. But I caught you. Don't worry. I got you. Anyway. So, be in the energy of what you want to do. And I feel like, let's start with why is this coming up for me? And I think it's like this sense of, I put so much pressure on myself to find out what is next, or what do I want to do, or where do I want to go, or how do I want this to look, and how come I'm not already doing the thing? And it's like, that's a lot of pressure to put on one person to have it all figured out. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to, at 18, know that I wanted to be a physician assistant, and went to school nose to the grindstone, got everything done as quick as possible, and became a physician assistant, I think at 22, 23, something like that, and did it for 15 years. And it was like one of those things where I think in high school, there is some pressure, especially, your junior, senior year, of like everybody else knows what they're going to major in and all this other stuff. But I fell into that and loved it. And now I don't know what I want to do. And for that amount of time, I had it easy, if you will, of knowing what I wanted to do. So all of that to say is I have all this pressure on myself, self-induced, but all this pressure on myself of what's next? What am I going to do next? What's going to be the next big thing to, for me, for the next stage of my life? And I think between being tired of trying to figure that out and just recognizing that I, fortunately, have a lot of interests, and it feels sometimes like, I'll call it a burden, because it's I don't know where to put my energy because I have so many things that I'd like to try, or I'd like to do, or that I kind of do. And anyway, but I started realizing, and honestly, going back just a little bit here, if some of you have been following my channel, I recently was living in my car. I moved back home, well, home-ish, home adjacent, so that I can kind of just chill for a little bit and see where I want my life to go. Hibernate, I call it. But in that same token, I got to a point out there when I was living in my car that I was like, I could keep doing this. I did this before for on and off for 2 years, something like that, year and a half, 2 years. So it was I know I can do this. I'm really good at, I'll call it, forcing myself to do something, whether it's in my best interest or not. Some people call it stubborn, but yeah. Anyway, but I sat down and took inventory of myself, and I'm like, is this how I want my life to look? Because I can keep doing it. And by being in that experience, by doing that thing over and over, I'm only reinforcing that muscle of being a car lifer, or flying by the seat of my pants, or, and it's however you look at it too, but whatever energy you put behind it. But I'm like, no, I don't want to keep doing this. I don't see where my life is going right now. However, I didn't want it to look like that, where just constantly I was in the depths of the unknown of where is this going tomorrow? What town am I going to? What state am I going to? Any and all of it. So with that being said, it's yes, I've thought about this before, but I don't think it really ever dawned on me of day to day, I'll call it. You know, this sense of every day putting yourself in situations, if you will, of energy that you want to be around. So if you want to be happier, it's like surrounding yourself with happier people, or, you know, setting boundaries around the ones that aren't, or doing things that light you up, or you know, like for me, for right now, it's like there's so many different things, I'll call them spiritual avenues, but like intuition and psychic development and tarot and astrology and human design and like all of these things that I'm really interested in. And it's like finding the ways in which I can immerse myself. Finding out also, it's like, how do I want to live life? And start surrounding yourself with experiences that are similar to that. You know, I want to invite in more financial abundance. So putting things around my house that kind of elicit that feeling of feeling abundant. Doing things or hanging out with people who are that way. Doing live Zooms or meetups or something that encompass the ideals of financial abundance and accruing financial abundance. And these are just examples, but you know, if you would have said to me, well, you just got to surround yourself with the energy of what you want to do, I would have been like, no shit. But I don't know, today on my walk, I was just like, it's like the things that I want in my life, whatever they happen to be, you know, a different way of living, or a new apartment, or more aligned friends, deeper connections, an awesome cup of coffee. I don't know, like all of these things are at your disposal. It's putting yourself in the energy to obtain them, or to accrue the knowledge, or really it's not even to accrue the knowledge, it's just being in the vibration of the things that you want. Maybe they're not your, for example, yesterday I did a psychic development course, and somebody that was relatively new was saying that they were really like beginner and really unsure, and they didn't know what to do. And my advice was just sit here and be in this energy of this circle of these amazing, you know, psychics, essentially. Because it's like, just by being there, just by showing up, just by doing these things is going to put you already in that position. And I believe that. And yeah, so all of that to say is looking at your life, and you know, here we are at the beginning of the year. So in lieu of resolutions, it's like, maybe you're like me and you don't know where you want your life to go, but you just kind of know that this isn't quite it, or this isn't it, and not quite it, but this isn't it at all. And maybe you don't know, you know, like people are like, dream big, and what are your dreams? What are your goals? Where do you see yourself in, you know, whatever, 10 years? And it's like, I don't really know, because like I said, I think because I have so many avenues in which I maybe could pursue, or all these little hobbies that really do light me up that I get excited about, but who knows where they're going to go. It's like, maybe because of all of those potential paths, I don't quite have a direction, like a final destination, if you will, because any one of these paths could take me somewhere else. But it's like finding the things that maybe you're curious about and leaning into them and seeing if that's something you want to continue to pursue. You know, like I said, the psychic development course, for example, I don't foresee myself becoming a psychic medium. Maybe I will, who knows? But it's like going to the thing and seeing what becomes of it. You know, if you're curious about country line dancing, start going. You know, maybe you start to find out that you actually hate it, and that's fine too, but that you meet a lot of cool people through it, or you actually like country music, or you really think that you should own a pair of cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. Cowboy hat? Cowboy hat. But anyway, but it's like you never know where it's going to go until you start leaning into your curiosity. But yeah, so I guess this sense of almost like, yeah, short-term goals, if you will, leaning into kind of where you want your energy to flow and setting goals around that. So again, I don't know where this is all going. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing next month, because things seem to be constantly changing and ebbing and flowing, and that's great. So it's hard to really place long-term goals around that, because in some ways it feels so stifling. But I think because I have this sense of leaning into the energy that I want to experience, I think that is going to be my guide. You know, I want happiness and love and excitement and magic and I don't know, like all of these things in my life, and it's really tapping into that energy and start doing the things that maybe, I can't say mimic, but bring forth that energy. And yeah, maybe it's nothing you ever do with. That wasn't correct grammar. But maybe you don't do anything with that experience. But I think it also is like a muscle, like muscle memory. Is like you start to reinforce this habit of being in a happier state, or being in a more excitable state, or mysterious state, curious, you know, but you're like practicing this energy that maybe you haven't, because for so long you got up, you did the same thing every single day because it feels safe and comfortable. You get up, you brush your teeth, you let the dog out, you make a cup of coffee, you go to work, you come home, you watch TV, you go to bed, you do it again tomorrow. And all well and good, but it's like, again, I did that for 15 years at my profession, and like I said, on and off for 2 years living in a car. You know, you get to the point where even in the most spontaneous type of living situation, such as living in your car, you look to find routine and habit, which is a different video, let's just say, but you know, also okay. But what do you want to experience more in your life? What do you want it to look like? And if it is safety, security, and that's okay. Do it up. But if it's something else, start leaning into that. Start getting curious and see where it takes you. So either way, it's kind of cold out. It just snowed here. I love the snow. I miss the snow. So I think I'm gonna, I don't know, go do something exciting. All right, I'll check yous later.